We're still waiting on the IONET guys dropping in. I know everyone's extremely busy, so thanks for everyone taking the time out today to come and jump on. It's a little bit different for us. Usually we get one founder or two founders from one specific team. Now we've got more of a round table. Some real titans from this kind of intersection of deep in and AI that's kind of playing out, and just wanted to kind of bring a plethora of people on who are building in this space and kind of pick their brain. I'm sure everyone who listens to Blocmates podcast regularly is sick to death of hearing me speak. So I'm going to try and nudge the conversation in the right direction. But I would primarily want to get out of the way and let these guys have a kind of open roundtable discussion. First of all, thank you so much to AIOZ Network for sponsoring today. Really appreciate that. And also for facilitating pulling everyone together, all these big brains in one room, and then me, the smooth brain who can help moderate. So I think where's best to start? Can we give each person around on the round table just a high level of who you are, the role, and kind of what the project or company is that you're working for today? And as I say, we can start with Erman, and then we'll go clockwise around the room onto Sarah, Daniel, and then John after that.
Great, thanks, Grant, thanks everyone. I want to explain to you about what we do. So my name is Erman Chiputra. I'm the founder of AIOZ Network. So AIOZ Network is a DePIN for Web3 in AI, computes, in storage and streaming. So what is DePIN for us essentially? It's basically an application that we've built whereby we use the unused computing resources of devices who have an OS in Windows, Linux or CLI, that we make use of the three main categories, which is in a storage, HDD, SSDs. We store everything, anything digital, right? And then the second is a GPU, right? We make use of the transcoding, the video, and as well as AI computes. So the third most important category for us is bandwidth. Bandwidth is very, very important, a stable, consistent bandwidth. And this DePIN now consists of about 67,000 nodes around the world community. And these nodes actually power four main infras that we have built. So currently we're focusing on the product called W3S, which is an S3 protocol, whereby developers and projects can use an S3 protocol and build what they want to build based on the storage needs. And the second storage infra that we've built is an IPFS, based on IPFS protocol. It's a pinning service with a built-in DCDN. So it's able to cater to projects like NFTs, or OpenSea's platforms. So that's the second business that we are rolling out. The third infra that we are pushing out is basically a W3 stream, which is a video infrastructure. In the first, we're going to launch in the video on demand, and later on live streaming. Because video on demand, live streaming is a very highly computationally intensive task on the GPU. So we would like to launch it after we've launched the VOD. So the fourth project that we're most excited about, and is also quite relevant to what we're conversing today, is AI. So we're actually a deep tech company in 2013. We're AI engineers and developers at the core of it. We've published white papers in rank A peer-reviewed conferences. And what we do is that basically, how do we integrate blockchain with what we do, we've built, with the pins. So we decided that the AI team of us pivot to build and make use of the GPUs for AI compute. So we brainstorm and said that, okay, we're going to build a so-called marketplace whereby the AI developers can store the data sets. They can make use of the GPUs for inferencing, right, for training AI models. At the same time, they can so they can build an AI dApps. All this is a very collaborative effort and with incentivization. So I think all in all, that's who we are. And thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So Sarah, do you want to fill us in on who you are, what your role is, and kind of what you guys are building?
Sure. Thank you, Grant. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So I'm Sarah. I'm the head of BNB Chain APSA BD region. So BNB, what is BNB Chain? BNB Chain is actually a hub for all kinds of Web3 or blockchain projects. We have three key technical infras combined BNB Chain. One is BNB Smart Chain, which is BSC, a EVM compatible layer ones. And the second one is OPBNB, OP rollup building on top, OP rollup layer 2 building on top of BSC, which have a lower gas fee and high TPS. And also we have BNB Greenfield, which is a decentralized data storage protocols. So these are two key technologies that BNB Chain is offering to all kind of Web3 developers. So there have been a lot of dApps or infras supporting or building on top of BNB Chain, including AI projects, deepin project, or even those kind of regular dApps like GameFi, DeFi projects. So the average DAU on BNB Chain, which specifically on BSC, is over 1 million per day now, and it's also 1 million DAU on OPBNB after 5 months of OPBNB mainnet launch. And as for Greenfield, we launched the mainnet of Greenfield also last year, and there have been hundreds of dApps that's already integrated with Greenfield to store the data and manage data on Greenfield, and etc. So in general, BNB Chain is a technical hub to help developers and grow up with any kind of interesting startups to build something really interesting in crypto space. That's a really short intro about BNB Chain and some key metrics of BNB Chain.
Awesome. Yeah, Daniel, do you want to fill us in?
Cheers. Yeah, very interesting to see how much has been developed in the ecosystem, both broadly, what Herman has shared, as well as Sarah, just to learn how much Binance has built over the past couple of years. So thanks for sharing. Cool. So I'm Daniel. I'm from Aleph IAM Network, decentralized cloud compute and storage. Started back in 2019, the first bear market after ICO season. So it basically emerged as a need that came from several networks that we were contributing to. There was Nulls network. There were later mainnet Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Tezos NFTs were mostly using Aleph for storage. Ubisoft Gaming Studio ended up basing their NFT assets on Aleph storage for Quartz, a game, and is now working on infrastructure for a number of other games to come using those interoperable decentralized storage-based NFTs. And the rationale there is when things started with Aleph is at the time there was no such thing as deepin, as a meme, as a narrative. But basically we understood that if we're talking about Web3 as a truly decentralized web, then besides having transaction settlements on smart contracts and aspects that are purely based on low-level blockchain network, then we're going to have a lot of technologies missing from the stack of developing something that is consumer adoption oriented. And basically that's something became very evident that it's along the lines of AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, and all of those both storage and compute utilities. And the reason being is that you see nowadays, unlike in 2013, 14, or that period, nobody is running Ethereum node in their home. Nobody is running a Bitcoin ASIC in their home. Sure, there was a period of time I was a researcher in a university in Australia, and I used the free internet from the university in order to mine Ethereum with a bunch of GPUs. But these times are not really happening now. So basically, it's becoming clear that we need to start developing other aspects from the stack of web that would be able to deliver a fully commercial ready Web3. And now basically, after supporting quite a large number of applications and networks with all the open source models for LLMs, there was a lot of experimentation where people take trained models and already take Mistral or DeepSeek or others and end up tuning them, and then it becomes kind of like a Chat GPT-4 equivalent, but it is run on a decentralized network. So basically, out of all this compute on Aleph network, most recently there was a new project called Liberty, where all of those LLMs are first deployed and are essentially running on Aleph. So this is eventually enabling people to provide the same level of infrastructure similar to one of the giants in decentralized compute and actually get a piece of the pie. If you have an explosion of something like an OS like Ubuntu that ends up turning into a major distribution, then basically people get a share of the compute resources that are allocated, which is very similar to a proof of work scenario, except it's not even a blockchain. It's a compute network rather than a ledger. And yeah, that has been, I guess, like a direction that ended up shaping up with Aleph in the last several months, where emerging AI talent ended up using the network for that. So that's been very exciting to see. And there's a number of other deep-in related projects, like satellite-based cryptographic applications that I've been working on with CryptoSat as well. So we're going to look at how to get all of those like hardcore physical infrastructure pieces to eventually, if the industry of crypto matures enough to be like a 100 trillion, say, industry, or 10 trillion even, we're going to start seeing telecommunication companies and infrastructure of that scale being natively owned by crypto. For that, we need solutions that are natively crypto, like storage, compute, AI, that is completely free from the centralization of OpenAI Foundation that ends up turning into something that was originally not intended. So yeah, this is, I guess, the gist of where things are at in Aleph, why we're working on these things, and yeah, over to you, John.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm John Gleason. I'm with Storage. Storage A is a project that's been around for a long time. I joined in 2017. Storage is a drop-in replacement for Amazon's S3 offering. So today we have a network of about 23,000 nodes in 100 different countries. Our service is about 80% lower cost than Amazon. We have an 80% lower carbon footprint, and we're actually globally faster from a single upload than Amazon, Wasabi, or Backblaze, and a lot of the other providers. We've been really growing a lot in Web 2 more so than Web 3, bringing on a lot of workloads. But also in Web 3, a lot of projects are building on us. So we have a partnership with LivePeer, where LivePeer does the video transcoding and the VOD, and we're the underlying storage layer for their service. And I think it's great that the deep-in narrative is emerging to sort of describe the category of applications like the ones here represented on the show, because it's sort of a unique opportunity to tap into a distributed network of resources and bring a disruptive architecture to bear that really competes with what has been really a closed market that only the hyperscalers with billions of dollars have been able to penetrate. So really excited about what we're doing in the space. It's great to hear that people are building and there's real adoption, and I'm excited to carry the conversation forward.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of my main questions around anything like this, when there is such an explosion, usually stuff is pretty short-lived in this industry, but this kind of intersection of what everyone's kind of building here has got so much staying power. And each time I look into like each one of your projects or what you guys are building, I just get more and more bullish on the overall aspect of the industry as a whole. But why is it now? Like what has happened to get us to this point where people are so excited about this? Has there been a technology unlock? Like, why is there been so much attention focused on it now, whereas you guys have obviously been focusing on this thing for such a long time? But what is it about this point in time that is kind of capturing everyone's attention? And I don't know who wants to butt in there, and if there's conversations and back and forth, then Daniel's putting his hand up. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm happy to like share what I feel like is the narrative that we're seeing is that traditionally in crypto we used to see the fat protocol thesis is the only thing that has staying power. Base layers assets like Ethereum, Bitcoin, or some other time are the only assets that basically accrue value. Accrue value from speculation mostly, but nevertheless accrue value. Now, what I think we're seeing with Deepin as a meme is that it essentially emerged from the FAT protocol thesis expanding to the infrastructure that is required to service the base layer assets rather than like the seasonal stuff like food coins or NFTs and stuff like that. You basically have an expansion of the FAT protocol thesis to those middleware, middle layer style services that you would need for web. And then like now the market is maturing enough to catch up with actual utility of this aspect of Web3 as a part of what is already kind of is a softer fat protocol thesis, basically like the first layer after the base layer. That's kind of the narrative or meme take that I feel is existing in this sector.
Anyone else want to chip in? Why now? Like, why the explosion?
Yeah, I'll chip in. I think there's a couple of other things that are at play also. One of which is building decentralized physical infrastructure is really hard. I mean, I think everybody in this panel can look at this and go, geez, when we all started, I heard 2019 and other timeframes. Like, we have been at this a while, and it is surprisingly hard to build an enterprise-grade decentralized storage data center management product on top of hostile infrastructure that you don't own, control, manage, or have access to. Like, that's a big leap. And the fact that
does that give you guys like an inherent moat then? Because a lot of crypto expands with like minor iterations that might even only be a UI, and someone's like, oh, this is the next thing since sliced bread. But because you guys have had such a head start, does that just effectively like no one's going to look at this and think, geez, I'm going to take on that, when they could, as Daniel was saying, just fork the next food coin or NFT project and just be like, there's probably a little bit more of a financial incentive for better or for worse there. But kind of having that infrastructure as a moat, does that kind of give you guys a bit of a leg up?
I think it gives us a bit of a leg up, but I think for all of the infra providers, we've all experienced a lot of some of the growing pains and a lot of the learnings about being demand constrained versus supply constrained. And what it's led to though is iterating and building and getting to something that's really robust and good. And at the same time that we've been building, the market's been evolving, right? So the innovation is all in Web3, but the workloads and the money is in Web2. And when you look at sort of where that adoption is coming from and why, part of it is driven by the global economy, right? The larger organizations need to cut costs, and their two biggest costs are people and infra, right? And there's only so far you can cut with people before you really damage the business. Infra, on the other hand, when costs become really important, innovative, disruptive products become very attractive. And so companies, when things weren't, quite with the same set of macroeconomic conditions where it wasn't quite as important to cut, wouldn't necessarily consider something like a Web3 project and say, well, crypto, it's toxic, right? It's FTX, it's all the bad things. I'm not putting that anywhere near my business. And now they're like, so you're telling me I can take a zero off my Amazon bill? You have my attention, right? And so I think that's part of the underlying thing is maturity of our ecosystem, maturity of just the category. And then the other part is just a market that's desperate for what we're bringing to the market. So it's just synergistic, and it's great to see sort of these two things coming together. Maybe not the macroeconomic conditions, but certainly the adoption is positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sarah,
Right.
anything on why you think now?
Yeah, let me add a bit more color of what we see, especially in the field of AI. So I think because we're also NVIDIA's Inception partner in the program, so we do have a lot of conversations together, because we see a trend that AI is currently in a truly trajectory growth, which is beyond anyone's expectations, from NVIDIA, the GPU manufacturer, to a lot of chipsets out there. So we're gonna see a overwhelming so-called explosion in demand, and the supply is not able to keep up, right? So that's why all of us in this panel on the projects and the infra side, they are making use of any computing resources that are unused, be it in storage or GPUs, right? And that's where we come in and fill up the gap. We offer a better alternative in costing, because by default computes are peer-to-peer and everything is distributed, replicated. So costing is likewise going to be reduced. And the supply side, right, is by us, by the people. So we're building a human-powered internet and going into the future, right? So I think the AI world, I think that's where we see a lot of growth in GPUs demand, and Nvidia recently released their results. It's beyond everyone's imagination, right? So I think we in the infra side, will be able to we have a lot of pie to grow together, right? Meaning, like, all of us in this space have a lot in common. We work together, collaborate together to address a need, a concern, addressable market that is totally something untapped. Yeah, that's where I see in the AI space. Yeah.
I can add more something, right? So we think that blockchain is kind of representing the relationships of production, and for example, AI is representing productive forces. So with the development of AI technologies, we do think that blockchain technology is becoming also more important, especially in AI products or dApps. We all see what happens around OpenAI like months ago. So we do think that there's a real demand coming from real business use cases to kind of like integrating or combining AI technologies together with blockchain technologies to make it to be more decentralized, to have a more transparent way to incentivize every stakeholders in that ecosystem. And to make that new technologies to really beneficial to every people's, and to make the power of AI to be equally to support everybody's in the world. So that is also, I think, why one of the key reasons about your questions, why now, why we think that the trend of AI plus DeepIn as well as blockchain is really popular now. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. That makes a lot of sense. So what a lot of uneducated people, I'm going to kind of caveat that with, will say towards any, even if it's a financial product, if it's something getting built in DeFi, they'll be like, well, I can get the same use case from a traditional Web2 provider, for example. So what is it about crypto rails that enables each of the products that you guys are building? What does it unlock? How do you think about tokenization as a force for this? Because I think the Web2 products, that's underwriting how impactful that can be with as a use to incentivize people and globally coordinate people. But I don't know who wants to kind of kick off that aspect of the question of what does crypto rails purely unlock for the products that you guys are building?
I can probably kick this off. For us, it's really, it's a function of utility, and bootstrapping a network and building a network of 23,000 reliable nodes and being able to offer an SLA performance better than Amazon, building a network like this and having a cost structure where the network is able to earn money and participate in the cloud economy. None of that is possible without the crypto rails, right? We do the micropayments to 10,000 providers in 105 different countries on an ongoing basis, and just the payment infrastructure alone is basically impossible without crypto. Like, there's no other way for us to do those value transfers other than with crypto at this scale. And as we go from close to 100 petabytes today to exabyte levels, and the network continues to grow exponentially, those efficiencies only continue to increase, and the challenges of transitioning to a non-crypto infrastructure grow incredibly, right? So that the moat, as you described it earlier, gets even bigger, and the value of crypto grows even more simply because of what it empowers.
Anyone else got any thoughts on crypto rails and the beauty of that? I think
Yeah,
you're on
to add
mute.
on to John, to add to John's comments and conversation is that indeed blockchain as that payment layer allows us in this so-called space to have fractional rewards, incentivization, which we could not possibly have done with a Web2 payment provider, right? The transaction fees range from 1 to 3%, of which it will totally inhibit or impede any transactions that will occur, especially when what we're doing is in the infra side where we store segments, we have to deliver in segments. So that blockchain technology was what brought us into this space for us, AIOZ, right? That is enables, and I pretty much can say for everyone in the infra in this panel, right? That the fractional rewards is what attracts, 0.0000 to 18 digits. That's like unheard of, right? So in a Web2 world, right? So I think that's a great utility for us. And that's why we decided to explore further and apply it so that it will create utility in the ecosystem. Yeah.
Awesome. Sarah, Daniel, any thoughts on that?
No.
Just our overarching thoughts on crypto rails or
I think basically the interesting part about what Deepin serves in like taking crypto to the next level is that the crypto rails via Deepin becomes the digital native asset infrastructure for AI. Eventually, when you have agents that are performing a lot of otherwise semi-human tasks, then all those agents essentially automate the value transfer across Web3 via Deepin, right? For example, I've recently got the Hive Mapper and also the weather station. I live rurally in East Coast Australia. These things are super useful for me, one, but then if I can also automate the process of interacting with the network and getting my reward optimized and my journey via GPS optimized, etc., then essentially I have Web3 serving me just by living. It's like Deepin is enabling us to kind of develop this coexistence with AI that is similar to permaculture or something. Like you're able to use these digital native entities, agents, assets, and essentially cultivate lifestyle that contributes to the digital cyber wilderness and rewards you by being a good actor with crypto assets, such that you can also interface to your normal real world life, right, in nature. So I think that the kind of synergy between AI and compute and storage becomes extremely apparent once you start seeing that people are employing those AI agents for different applications that, thus are automating all of these financial applications, whether it's from, mapping data, whether AI utility, right? So that's kind of the direction that I think everything is going with Deepin in Web3, regardless specifically of what's the gaming application or the indexing application, or be it any other compute requirements, right?
so I want to do a bit of foresight and see what's kind of coming over the horizon. Is there anything that you guys are internally looking at, even from like a company project perspective or even from a personal perspective, that you might see as a bit of a trend going forward in maybe it's AI, Deepin, or any intersection between that and blockchain? And is there anything that you guys are building towards that to kind of give us insight on what's kind of coming over the hill? And whoever wants to kick that one off, then we can just go around the room.
All right,
Anyone?
I'm happy to go again for you. It's funny in the Deepin space. A lot of this is just going about the boring work of building and delivering the service, right? And so it sounds like just super uninteresting. But when you think about that, it's decentralized service, like, oh, so it is kind of interesting that you can actually do it, and it's hard. And some of the things that we're focused on right now are on the performance side, especially, right? So we've done some changes that we deployed recently that nearly doubled our performance and halved our latency. And that really put us just over the top, where we were beating Amazon in a lot of regions, and right now we're winning globally on the performance side, which is fantastic. We're adding some, sort of more mundane features like object versioning and object lock, and those new features, part of the S3 compatibility side of things, really unlock a lot of new partner opportunities. So working with more of the traditional Web2 backend infrastructure like Veeam and Commvault and Haiku and some of the main backup apps. And we're also investing in partnerships in the compute space. So we are just really hyper-focused on being an awesome object storage layer, but compute is critical. And so partnerships with companies like Valdi and Akash and some of the other infra providers, we're bringing that distributed compute to the edge, meeting the distributed storage at the edge to provide some unique solutions. And so I think both on a technology standpoint, on boring things like, focusing on customer acquisition and streamlining customer onboarding and making that great, the product being awesome, and then partnerships that bring the composability of Web3 to complete solutions for Web2. Those are the things that we're building on. Those are the things we're excited about. And it's great to see a lot of this coming together. And I think you'll see a lot of announcements from Storage over the next few months as we're bringing these features to market and these partnerships to bear.
Yeah, do you want to go next on what might be on the horizon? Then we can go around to Sarah and then on Daniel.
Right. So in terms of AI, I see that there's a trend towards I would say as developers, we do two things. One is training of AI models and inferencing. So in the beginning of the stage of an AI cycle, we always train with data cleaning, and we tend to see a direction towards inferencing more now, right? So inferencing is definitely an uptrend. I think data centers are now focusing a lot on inferencing. Even from NVIDIA point of view, there's a recent article by Wall Street Journal that the CFO also comments about they're focusing a lot on inferencing, right? So even for us, we see that, and we're building out the first version of our W3 AI compute platform to focus a lot on inferencing first, because the demand is there, right? As long as the demand, we want to be there where the market needs it, right? So to us, we see as a business, it's an opportunity for the pin, right, who is participating. That means creating work and rewards for the nodes, network of nodes, as well as catering to the demand side, which is the developer side of things. Yeah. So I think that's what I see in the AI world. Yeah.
Awesome. Sarah, do you want to set the stage what you guys have got going on, or even just some outlooks on what's coming in the near future in the industry?
Actually, we have saw a lot of like AI dApps developers or startups that is reaching out to us or already building on top of BNB chains. There's two major types. One is AI dApps mainly for end consumers. So what they are doing, they are offering, like, for example, AI agent for everybody's, so that everybody can have or train their own AI agents by offering their own personal data. And they can use that AI agent to do anything, or to even offering professional services, like, for example, offering training to other users and earn monies. And then the platform will also offer a monetized system or bonding curve for those AI agents. So kind of like monetize it or incentivize users. That is one type. So it's more in AI tools or AI character platforms offering to our end users. And another type is more like those kind of AI computing platforms or AI data platforms. What they are offering is more like a computing resources, as well as data analyzing tools, etc., or computing distributed computing resources, which will offer those services to business, to enterprise, or to startups, or to dApps, which will have those kind of demand. By offering these services, they will also have part of, for example, the data is being stored on decentralized storage protocol like Greenfield. They will also have their own incentivized layers by issuing their tokens on top of BNB chains, etc. So those are two types of AI plus blockchain applications that we are seeing, and we have already got to build BNB chain ecosystem now. So we do really believe that this is a really right and promising trend. So BNB chain now is put every resources to support those kind of startup or developers to build their solutions, related solutions into BNB chains. That is also why we launched Greenfield by last year to offer a full technical solutions or services to any possible developers in the eco.
Nice. Yeah, Daniel, any thoughts on where we're heading and what you guys are building around that?
Yeah, so I guess in terms of demand-driven or utility-driven development for compute and AI in crypto, in Web3, one of the things that are pretty much kind of becoming a synergy between Aleph and Libertai is that Libertai did not yet create its own incentive layer. So then what they want to do is to rely on incentivizing Libertai operators or Aleph.im operators. And by that, essentially start bootstrapping their own network based on another compute network. So like recently there was the meme of until 26 February, you can stake your, or like register your wallet that you stake with Aleph coins on Libertai, and then they give certain points and benefits, access to different products. And then the rationale here is, how can you basically take this AI that is fully open source, decentralized, supposedly doesn't have the same moat as OpenAI would have, but nevertheless incentivize the community to migrate and use it? Because a lot of how crypto work is that you don't actually need to think about what is the thing that rational or irrational people would do. You just need to make sure that people would want to do it. And that's basically the incentive layer to run infrastructure for AI is critical to that. Basically, with Aleph now, for example, there's starting to be growing demand for GPUs. So then the Libertai crew decided that if someone is providing certain kind of node, they would reward them more points. So you see very, very nice synergy between the AI application and how it's using the decentralized cloud to incentivize, which I think this is very interesting because we haven't been seeing so much of these things before outside of DeFi. And now it's like both kind of the deep in the physical part of the infrastructure as well as the utility, the application, like AI marketplace that ends up securing its infrastructure.
Yeah, nice. So we've been seeing a lot, particularly in the news of late, about some of the big incumbents that are in this space, and how big of an issue is the kind of, I don't know what they call the Magnificent Seven, kind of creating this power law distribution and funneling into what was previously a data monopoly and now slowly turning into like an AI and GPU monopoly. Like, how much of a big concern is this? Are people overblowing this, underplaying it? Like, what's the kind of high level thoughts there? John, do you want to start? You're great at starting these.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there is somewhat of a real concern that, there is a trend of, sort of concentration of wealth, concentration of resources, and those things sort of tending towards, having some political impact, having a huge social impact, and the amount of power that the small few companies and small few number of very wealthy individuals wield in our society and have is disconcerting. And it's one of the real strengths of decentralization that we can build infrastructure that rivals the capabilities of those hyperscalers, but we do it in a crowdsourced way. We do it in a decentralized way. And it's unique in our space that we can marshal these resources and compete directly with those businesses that have been around for 15 years. They have a 15-year head start. They've had billions of dollars to invest, but through crypto economics and decentralized infrastructure, we can bring this new architecture to bear. And it's an important thing that we can allow anybody to participate in that economy, and we can especially allow people to free their data from the moats created by the high egress fees and the captive compute resources, to allow people to bring their data to the compute, any compute, right, and choose what resources they use, manage their data, manage their privacy. And absolutely, the first phase with the burst of model training was huge, right? And very few people could afford to have those resources. But as now we get to model inferencing, right, privacy concerns become much more important. And these are the technologies on this panel that are really changing the game in terms of enabling anyone to bring their data to any compute and participate in those economies differently. So I'm really, I think what we're doing is very important. And I think what is going on in the larger economy is somewhat concerning. Absolutely.
Yeah, and any thoughts on that?
Right. So I think to add to that, I do see that what we've built is basically infra, right? It's really a boring company, truth be spoken. Nobody should know that we're powering a YouTube or a TikTok, So, but all the user cares is, oh, I'm getting my video, I'm getting my audio, right? But behind it is a very complex architecture delivering the user experience, right? So with this Web3 infra that we're all building in this space, it's the stepping stone to further enhancing the newer ecosystem out there. The newer ecosystem can consist of newer economics of a dApp, a newer form of a YouTube, a video platform, a storage platform, where they have their own economic models, incentivization on their own, right? So I think that's probably unbounding and unchaining some of the so-called current platforms limitations. Just by default is because it's either by cost and also because there is no blockchain technology to support it, right? There's proofs in blockchain technologies, there's computes, which is decentralized, and the incentivization, the collaborative effort. So I think we're starting to so-called crack the mirror so that everyone can really see the truth behind what we all as a community, when they're together, what we can build. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Sarah, any thoughts on the big incumbents of the world and dragging down their monopoly?
Sorry, what is the question actually? Sorry, I missed the question part.
Yeah. So question was kind of in the realm of, is the concern with the kind of big magnificent seven that are pushing towards like an AI and GPU monopoly with your Amazons and OpenAIs and Googles and Metas of the world, is that an overblown concern, or is it kind of understated? And how do you guys kind of think about that internally?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that should be a concern, that everybody should be aware of it, and that is also why we are here. All of these projects here is building now. Some of them are building infras. We are also building infras. We know how hard it is to build the infra and also build the ecosystem on top of the infras. And that is also why we are putting technical support, marketing support, as well as even financial support to incentivize or to support early adopters or developers to build their AI solutions or whatever the data solutions on top of a decentralized infra instead of a centralized databases. So we are here to offer solutions, support in everything we have to kind of resolve that, address that issues, resolve that problems, which may cause a bigger issue for humans in the futures. So yeah, that's my answer.
Awesome. Yeah, Daniel, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so actually, it gives me flashbacks to when I was an engineer in the semiconductor industry. Basically, if you think about innovation, technology, the semiconductor industry that started in the 60s was later like laying the foundation for all modern telecommunication. And then even the internet that was like initially just a toy for nerds, like Web3 is, you had companies like Google or Amazon that ended up becoming much bigger than almost any telco out there. So I think that quite a lot of how you see the incumbent's position in crypto today is very similar. It seems that, you know, the moat and the staying power that a company like Amazon has right now, it's like you're not going to be able to shake it, like, or Microsoft that is entrenched so deeply into any enterprise development life cycle of any industry, be it finance, be it semiconductors, healthcare, government, you name it, right? Similarly, all those toy for nerds that crypto are now seems like they can't like compete with these incumbents, but it's just a matter of time. Like in 5-10 years from now, you will see giants that are crypto native. You will, like right now, for example, if you go and look at deepdao.io, it's actually another project that I'm involved in. You're going to see that there is $40 billion managed under DAOs. So once you start having DAOs managing trillions, you're going to have crypto native infrastructure that is competing with scales of the internet giants and the telco giants and any other infrastructure giants, basically. We're not there yet, but probably if in this or the next cycle, crypto breaks 10 trillion or 100 trillion eventually, you're going to see a lot of infrastructure influence power, like global infrastructure, being swallowed by crypto native organizations. Could be very well one of the speakers in this panel that ends up being a part of pivotal transformation for the internet from where it is today.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think that'd be a step forward for everyone. So we've got a couple of minutes left. I want to just open this up 1 or 2 minutes for each of you guys. If there's a call to action with regards to if you want to look for partners, builders, hires, like developers, your applications, like tell like people where they can come find you, and like if there's any specific of what I've just mentioned there, please highlight that as well. But John, we can start with you again, and then we'll work around the room.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always open for partners, and you know, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Telegram at JG Gleason. I'm open to any kind of conversation about building great things and finding ways to bring solutions to market. And then I think another important call to market is to try the kit, right? We have great software. If you've tried Amazon S3, especially if you're building in Web3 and you're using Web2 tech as your infra and you haven't made the leap to say, let me try some of the projects here, you should absolutely go and see how mature Web3 infra has become. Right? We get up, we talk about these panels, we talk about how we're just winning customers in the space, and those customers are growing with us because it's really good software by now. This space is winning because a level of maturity and a level of hard work that's gone into it in the last several years. And there's no better way to find out and experience what crypto can do and how it can change the world by trying it. And so we're starting to see more and more Web3 projects, again, like LivePeer combining with storage to have an end-to-end solution. And I'm really excited for more people to try it and more people to convert and grow the space. So yeah, give it a try and reach out if you want to partner.
Awesome. Evan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so totally. As we build up and ship more infras, like currently we have a W3S, which is an S3 compatible product as well. We have a startup program. We encourage developers, projects to apply, and we support them. You know, try it out. Like what John and every panel wants to say, which is you never try, you never know, right? It's very, very seamless. It's not rocket science. As long you're a developer, you understand the basics. It is, you can port, you know, from Amazon to from a cloud to any of the Web3 products that we build. So it's quite simple to understand, but the immediate, I would say, result is cost, right, for the onboarding projects and developers. So I think that's a plus point, right? And that I think visit our website AIOZ.network, check it out, read up about us, DYOR, see with the fit for the project, because every project have different needs. You want storage, you want streaming, you want AI compute or IPFS. We want to cater to all. So different strokes for different folks, and we're diversifying ourselves in terms of the utility for the blockchain. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Sarah, yeah, is there anything from your side?
Yeah, there's a hackathon which is ongoing now. Every projects or startups or developers are welcome to apply the hackathon. The application period has been extended to 5th of March. So we welcome any kind of interesting idea to join us and to apply our hackathon. And also we have a lot of different supporting programs. You can check that details in bmuchain.com. On our website. And also if you have any specific ideas you wanted to talk with me, you can send email to me. My email address is sarah.s@bnbchain.org. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, Daniel, the floor is yours.
Cheers. Yeah, actually, what I see that in the last few months has been working really well for people to get involved is that a lot of the people that end up using Libertai as a chat GPT alternative, whether it's trying to develop using the API for their own custom agents or whatever, or it's just using it as the Telegram bot or in the web interface, quite a lot of product ideas came up from these conversations. And now there's a growing number of people that are collaborating with each other on building them. So if anyone is trying out the product and is interested to carry on, participate, or initiate any project development using these technologies, first of all, naturally, the main Telegram group for Libertai is open for everyone, or Aleph community would be likely very involved in this development as well. And I'd be happy to also hash brainstorm because I'm quite involved in this project at the moment. So yeah, my Telegram is Exponent.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone so much for coming. I know it's extremely busy time for everyone. We've got people all over the world here. And then also thanks for everyone who's tuned in. If you enjoyed it, just please give it a like and subscribe and do all that good stuff that I'm supposed to ask, but I never do. Thanks so much, everyone. And we'll speak to you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Yes.